one, see ya. Aloha, Garrett McNamara here in Nazaré, Portugal.
Simon Johansson here, straight out of Gothenburg, Sweden.
There's Everest in the background there.
My name is Annie Ford and I'm so excited to visit Europe for the first time. Welcome back to Thule Outdoor Club News, your window into the world of adventures, stories, and inspiring people doing big things in the outdoors.
In this episode, we'll have a look at new Thule product, co-created with surf legend Garrett McNamara.
We'll go from balloon jumps to biking across countries, and maybe most importantly, what it really means to roam free in nature.
But first, let's have a look at what our Thule ambassadors have been up to lately.
Hey, Maria Kuzma here. I'm currently in Austria, where the winter has just finished. The winter stopped 2 days ago, resorts are closed. So right now I'm on the wall doing the Klettersteig. Woohoo! And I'm currently cycling, biking in the mountains, hiking and climbing to keep fit for the next adventure ahead.
Hey everyone, Simon Johansson here, straight out of Gothenburg, Sweden. The weather lately have been amazing and I've been pretty heavy on the tools. I can't wait to shift my focus from excavators and shovels to bikes. Lots of fun events coming up and I can't wait to put the tires in the dirt. Cheers!
From carving dirt to carving waves. And speaking of surfboards,
We've teamed up with Garrett McNamara, the big wave surf legend, to co-create the Thule Aion surfboard bag.
built with the insights of the man who has surfed some of the biggest waves on Earth, designed for surfers who want to travel.
Like us. Let's take a closer look.
Aloha, Garrett McNamara here in Nazaré, Portugal, and we are here to launch a Thule Aion surfboard bag. All right. Oh, yesterday was a dream. 30 journalists show up. We take them out in the water. They all have the most amazing experience. They got to actually feel what it's like to get rescued after a giant wave, and we simulate that experience, and it's second to none. When you're on that sled and you're going as fast as you can go, it's the most exhilarating rush ever, and it was a home run. Everybody was smiling ear to ear. Everybody just wanted to hang out and just talk all night long. It was really amazing. Well, through the 100-foot wave, we're working on getting people captivated and interested in the ocean. And once we get them interested, we want them to fall in love and have some beautiful ocean experiences. And the ultimate goal is to have them protect the ocean, care for the ocean. To be able to roll it out here in Nazaré with the journalists and our close friends in an intimate evening at the Nazaré Theater. It was so special, and to have George Leal in the audience, it was so heartfelt and so beautiful and so meaningful, and just thanks to Thule for making that happen.
Imagine surfing a wave that's 16 giraffes tall. That's so impressive.
Yeah, here's a different kind of endurance. Annie Ford, an adventure activist, rode her bike from Mexico to Canada.
Why? To raise awareness for causes that are very close to her heart.
A border-to-border ride powered by purpose, and probably a couple burritos.
Definitely.
There are so many things we can do as individuals to make change. My name is Annie Ford and I am an adventure activist. Everything I do is now on a bike, whether it's commuting, whether it's adventure, whether it's downhill mountain biking. I live and breathe it because it's the funnest thing I've ever done. I grew up in Tasmania and I spent most of my life on the ocean. So after surfing my entire life, we had a incredible mountain bike park built in Tasmania. So about 7 or 8 years ago, I jumped on a mountain bike and went inlands for like the first time into the mountains of Tasmania in these incredible forests and could access these remarkable places and soon realised like you can go anywhere with a bike. You can go across countries and all you need are 2 wheels. It's a really fun way to adventure. Adventure activism is where you get to bring your passion and your purpose together. For me, it's a really fun way of sharing some really challenging environmental situations. Last year, I kicked off in Baja, Mexico, and rode my mountain bike all the way to Canada. The reason for doing it was to end a seismic blasting proposal. It was the biggest on the planet ever, and that proposal was cancelled about 3 or 4 months ago, just after the ride wrapped up. I've never had a better day in my life than when this community saved 7.7 million hectares of ocean. This year, I'm so excited to visit Europe for the first time, where I will be riding my bike from Scandinavia all the way to Morocco, wiggling my way through Europe and raising awareness about a really important cause close to my heart. I'll be using this ride to raise awareness about seismic blasting. It's a really damaging practice. It impacts everything that is in the region. And what better way to do that than with a bike? Biking is now my life. It gives me the energy I need to take on these incredible causes. It's what I live, it's what I breathe, and I couldn't do what I do without it.
Wow, after all that pedaling, let's float for a bit.
Done. Let's check in with our other ambassadors.
Good morning. Just got a call from my friend Drew. He's getting his hot air balloon ready, and apparently I can jump out of it. What's up, Drew? I think I just found you. How you doing?
I was just waiting for the wind to die down a little bit more.
Yeah, so we don't drift too much?
Yeah. There we go. We're flying. That's right. Woo. All right. 3, 2, 1. See ya. Yeah. Oh, beautiful morning jump, just the way we love it.
Hello, my name is Ida Engvoll and this is Hedvig, and we want to welcome you to our farm. We are preparing the soil for a long, beautiful season of beautiful vegetables and flowers.
Ida's back to the land lifestyle brings us to a uniquely Swedish concept, Allemansrätten.
Also known as the right to roam. This gives everyone access to nature with respect.
But what does it mean in practice?
We gathered a panel to explore this beautiful freedom and how we can preserve it for future generations. Sweden's Allemansrätt, or right to roam, is something very admirable and unique. But what does it really mean in practice? And how do we pass on that respect for nature to our future generations?
With us today is Magnus Ormstad, founder of the podcast Husky and outdoor expert, 2 Thule ambassadors and outdoor living moms, Ida Engvoll and Gizem Erdogan.
So Magnus, for someone who's never heard of Allemansrätten, how would you explain it and what makes it so unique?
Allemansrätten, or the Right to Roam Act, is like a big part of the cultural heritage of Sweden, and I would say also a big part of the Swedish nationality or Swedish identity. And in short, it gives you free access all types of nature, like mountains, forests, lakes, and ocean. It doesn't matter who who owns the land. It kind of overrides private land ownership. So you can for free access all this amazing nature. And while you're in the nature, you can hike, bike, go swimming, canoeing, whatever. And during autumn, you can even go like foraging, picking mushrooms and berries and so on. But at the the foundation of Allemansrätten is gentleman's agreement that if you are given this amazing opportunity to for free visit all these areas in the nature, you have to treat it with respect. There are certain rules that you have to follow. Like you can set up camp, but you can only camp out for one night. Then you have to move on. Can't make a big fireplace wherever you want. And also since '94, it's part of the Swedish constitution as well.
Ida, what does Allemansrätten mean to you personally?
I grew up in the north of Sweden, and when I was a kid, I didn't realize that this was so special.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that nature could belong to anyone. When I grew up, then I realized that you can own a nature. And now I own land and I own some forest, and I'm really proud of this, to be able to share this opportunity to share nature. And and I wish more people would pick berries. People don't do it enough, actually.
I know. But does it happen that you find people visiting your forest?
I haven't had the forest for a very long time, but of course every day people are walking in forest because we have these trails.
Hopefully they're picking berries out there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Gizem, how did you learn about the do's and don'ts of nature growing up?
I think it started very early in preschool, actually, because as you said, it's definitely a part of like the Swedish identity. I don't know really about the rules, but I can remember from preschool, because we have something that's called mulle. And I remember the strong pictures of being out in the forest and mulle coming to us and gave us all these different stories and how we can take care of the nature.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a very nice way to introduce this to a little person.
Yeah.
Magnus, with more people spending time outdoors, are there new challenges in keeping Allemansrätten alive and respected?
I would say so, and it's an ongoing discussion, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
So we shouldn't take it for granted. And for the past 10 years or so, and especially after COVID, of course, there's been a surge and spike in outdoor activities and so on, which is great. More and more people finding their way outdoors. But I think what you have is even though we have thousands and thousands of acres of nature, in the end people end up at a handful of places. And of course you with increasing amount of people visiting there, you have a increase in wear and tear on trails and so on. And of course littering and so on. So on certain local places, I know it's a rising debate, local media and so on. Certain places they have to close trails down because it wears too much on the trails. But I think there's a more individualistic society rising, and what you said, as a kid you kind of get this notion that you're a part of nature, but I think there's more and more people see nature as kind of a backdrop to the story about their life. It's me in nature, I'm not part of nature. And I don't think that's a positive development, I would say.
Yeah.
So of course social media is amazing because it makes it easier for people to find out where to go, but I think it can sometimes send out the wrong signals.
Ida and Gizem, as parents, how do you guys teach your kids to enjoy this freedom while still respecting nature?
Yeah, through mulle and through the living, and also through Naturskyddsföreningen. That's very informative, and they have this mulle school as well. But just by living, actually, just by walking in forest and just
that's the best way, probably.
It's the best way. Yeah.
I love that.
And I would say the same, just by living and just by also building a relationship, an equal relationship with all this beings and spirits out in the nature, and just to have that relationship with everything is alive. And so I would say that's maybe more my personal way of teaching my child to feel he's a part of being outside and out in the nature. But it's also very important that we have all these institutions that protects this, because I think it's super important, and it's such a big part of our identity, and I'm very grateful for it, for Allemansrätten.
I think it's easier to kind of connect the dots to realize that we're a part of nature. What people say, that you only protect something that you really care for. And growing up like this, it's very easy to kind of build a personal bond with nature. And being able to connect the dots between, like, okay, so this is where the food comes from. The fish is not just from the fridge,
Right, yeah.
in a funny shape, like covered in whatever. It comes from the lake, and the lake is here near the forest.
Exactly.
So
to be a part of the ecosystem, kind of.
be part of it.
What would your top tip be for somebody visiting Sweden who wants to explore nature in the right way?
Yeah, we have so much forest.
Right.
You're gonna find places in Sweden where you're alone at the lake, and that's awesome.
And it doesn't have to be so far from Stockholm, for an example, or other cities, like if you travel to Sweden.
Any other tips?
Now, see it as a way to kind of boost your karma account, to super cliche, but, leave the place, better than you found it.
Yeah.
If you go to a popular place, make a thing out of it, like make a game out of it, like bring some litter with you. If you see something, pick it up.
Yeah, that's
Be the best possible guest.
Yes.
Yeah. So great.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Yes.
From peaceful principles to party pace, it's time for the Keswick Mountain Festival.
Where bikes, music, and mountains collide. And yes, Thule hosted our very own triathlon.
Adventure, atmosphere, and a minor accident.
Let's check it out.
Hey, I'm Scotty Lockland. I'm here in Keswick for the Keswick Mountain Festival. There's plenty of inspiration in this place, the landscapes are beautiful, and we're about to watch the Thule Triathlon kick off with some swimmers going in the water.
Go and discover the trails of Win Latu Forest, and then wider we're going to go and ride Grisdale Peak. Yeah, a little update on an unfortunate one. The drone fell from the sky in spectacular fashion by hitting a branch. Before we got to the good stuff, we're just about to head up to the top of Grisdale Peak. We've got no drone for the landscape at sunset. Man! Here we go! We are at 539 meters above sea level. The summit is at 790. Still a bit to go, but look at where we are. I mean, come on! And now we're on to the final hurdle. Here we are, we're at the top of Grisdale Pike. And this is the descent. Looks absolutely incredible. Just undulating, winding ribbon of single track the whole way back down to the trail center of Windlatter. Oh yeah, I'm gonna enjoy this one. All right, let's get it, buddy.
Wow, that's an impressive hike.
Yeah, it really is. Until you see this next clip from Brodie.
Okay, Thule crew, so we're just in the icefall for our final rotation. We're going to head up to fix a new exit on the side of Lopsey to try and find a wingsuit exit for Tim. So, big few days ahead of us, about 72 hours, above 8,000 meters, so it's going to be quite a few days.
We didn't quite get to where we wanted. We're going to have to come back up tomorrow or the next day, but yeah. Oh. Himalayas. Nothing's as simple as you think, and everything takes longer, so that's okay. Go back to tent, regroup.
We are just up at our Lutzy Camp 4, so 7,600 metres. There's Everest in the background there. Tomorrow we'll head up and fix the route to the top, try and find the exit. And next day Tim will hopefully jump, so 2 nights up here. Yeah, incredible to be up here, but yeah, hard work. Okay, Thule, so I think that might mark the end of the expedition for us. We managed to get up to our high point today, necks of the wingsuit, but unfortunately the weather came in and we got stormed in for about 3 or 4 hours. So we sat there, tried to weather it out, but it got the better of us. Just so fortunate to do this as a job, and yeah, to the next one.
We've traveled high, low, fast, and far this episode, but sometimes the best outdoor adventures are just outside your front door.
Or your tent flap, or your van door, or your tiny off-grid cabin in the woods.
In this next episode of My Outdoor Home, we visit one of our ambassadors who has redefined what home really means in nature. Can you guess who it is?
Welcome to my outdoor home. Every adventure begins with smart packing and the right equipment. I rely on the Thule Subsolar, which gives me a lot of space and cozy corners, no matter if it's on a slow morning or on a long evening with my dog under the awning. This is where I find my balance. If you have any idea who I could be, just drop your comment right below and you might win your own setup.
That's a wrap on this episode of Thule Outdoor Club News.
Next time, we'll switch things up a bit.
We'll talk running with strollers, traveling.
All of it from beautiful Paris.
See you soon.